Hey guys, it's Timothy here. Looks like we are. Did we win? No, we lost the die roll, but um, we have a decent opening hand. It's going to be bad against a really aggressive deck. It's going to be very bad against an aggressive deck, but we're going to go ahead and keep it. We have a 2-drop and a 3-drop at the very least, even though I wish this was a 2-drop creature instead of a pyramid, but I talked a lot of stuff about pyramid. That's a good 2-drop. Might just be the best 2-drop in the entire set as far as creatures are concerned. Certainly the best 2-drop uncommon, right? Okay, wall is not something I'm super disappointed to see here. I should have played that desert on turn 1 now that I think about it. So game plan here, since this can't attack, it's going to start exerting very early on. Can get out of control if my opponent doesn't deal with it. River Hoopoe. Okay, we got us a real game here. Got us a real game. I think my best play here might be Sidewinder Naga, because it can just attack pretty freely into these. I'm going to go Desert Hooded Brawler next turn. And I think that's going to work out fine. Start exerting this. Let's go and play the Naga. Now, River Hoopoe is a very strong card, but it's mana intensive, and you have to not be under a ton of pressure to be able to use it, but it can take over a game very, very quickly. So this is a good matchup for it. If my opponent can stabilize, well, I mean, they're stable right now. Probably means they're deploying another blocker, or they just don't care, or they have an ambuscade. So let's go ahead and play the desert. Oh, we didn't exert. I'm so bad at Magic. I missed it. Question is whether I want to. Nah, he just has a free block on it. Yeah, I can't believe I just missed that exert there. Opponent going down to 16 though. Now we play Hooded Brawler. And we have Pyramid plus Harrier Naga. So we have a card advantage machine of our own. No, our opponent didn't ping us because they do not currently have a desert. They drew 2 cards. I'm happy seeing that, actually. We're 1 land away from making sure we hit this Hippo, but next turn we go Naga plus Pyramid. We won't forget to exert this time. Or maybe we will. Black mana. Black mana, you say? Okay, my opponent can hold up the activation, which is nice. You can hold up the activation plus other interaction. If my opponent just passes his turn, I suspect maybe the 2/3 flash guy, but... All right, I'm not actually sad to see that because the second one doesn't do very much. What are you doing with 3 mana? Lethal Sting. All right, that's pretty good. Let's go and exert. That might just be better to play than the Sunset Pyramid, to be honest. I want to get pressure on my opponent, definitely. I'm going to exert this, which means I'm not going to put a lot of pressure on them next turn. Pyramid is tempting, but I think since, I mean, I can always go Pyramid plus draw a card next turn if I'm not doing anything, but I think I just want to get in damage here. But you can already see how this could slip out of hand if my opponent starts activating Hoopoe. It does use their entire turn, but with me having to exert this in order to attack, they're not going to be under a lot of pressure. The Lethal Sting there was good. Yeah, so we're going to deploy both of these guys. Oh. And just get more beef on board. 4 attackers currently. The Hippo should do work. And every spell he has to cast is 1 activation of this he can't use. All right. I'm going to activate now. Huh. Okay, must want to hit land drops. And he's got a desert. Not bad. Reasonable attacks on my turn. That's not a bad draw either. This untaps. I think I just want to be making dudes with that, though. So I'm going to cast Avon this turn. I'm going to attack with Can't kill any of my creatures, especially not with one green. Could have shed weakness, but highly doubt he has shed weakness. So this definitely attacks and exerts. That means he either takes 3 or what have you. He's not going to block with the wall, so the wall would just block Harry or Naga if I were to attack with that. And I can't attack with this warrior. Yeah, he just has good blocks with my other guys. So we shall exert. Nope. I keep saying nope. It's like my thing now. These are going to alternate like exerting, which is good for me. But my opponent can't afford to tap out on their own turn for cards like that every single turn. As long as I don't see like a big Sifter Worm or something, I should be okay. Or at least like my opponent's not as far behind as it looks on board. But no, like they have a Hoopo that doesn't do anything. Like it's just a 1/3 flyer when you have the second copy. Doesn't mean he can block pretty freely with one. Now I have a flying attacker. Get to attack for 5 again. And if we draw anything that taps our opponent's creatures down, we're just in a good spot. Also, we're going to start getting card advantage with the Sunset Pyramid. Question is, if I don't draw a land and I play Sunset Pyramid, do I use it right away? Yeah. It's 5 mana? Oh, activating Hoopo again. My opponent doing that on their own turn. It's a good sign for me. Ooh, 4 colors? Hope Tender. Alright, so they're definitely some ramp deck. They're not up to double activations yet. Ooh. Alright, let's think about that for a second. We didn't exert again, but that might work in our favor. I won't forget to exert again. Alright, if I tap the wall and the Hope Tender, and I give this +6/+6 and trample. I have 6. No, that would be 9 trample. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 damage. My opponent could block 15, 12, or I think they have 5 toughness. They can block 5 damage off the 9 power and take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Or if they block the other 2 biggest things, they take 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, I've got my opponent dead here. Give this. In fact, just to be sure my opponent's dead, let's tap the 2 high toughness things and leave him with more toughness. I was just thinking if I tap down the 2 non-Hoopo creatures and get the 2 Hoopos off board, that takes away my opponent's card advantage. But we just block or tap down their highest toughness things, they die to the trample here. Again, showcasing just how powerful this card is. And I get to exert actually, so it's 11 power. It's absurd. Don't even have to exert to win. Alright. Opponent's deck might be a little scary. And it gives vigilance. It gives vigilance. Alright, I have 11 power trampler. Go ahead. Alright, double Hoopo. I don't think we took any stinging shots. Do have a spidery grasp. That could get my opponent, right? But actually, this thing gives reach, right? Yeah. Gift of Strength already gives reach. So a little bit worse. Seedfast Sentinel. I actually let's consider 4 power creatures if we have any. Just because he does have walls. My opponent's trying to play a late game here. Playing a ramp deck with some real late game stuff. I would probably normally make the play of taking the Sidewinder Naga out and putting in the Camel just because I'm on the draw. And a 3/2 lifelink is going to be better than a 4/2 trample, but we saw that wall, right? In fact, the wall makes me kind of want Manglehorn. What can we cut for Manglehorn? Some low power creature or low impact creature, maybe just the Naga. The lifelinker might not be relevant in this match. We also saw Lethal Sting, but there's not much we can do to play around Lethal Sting. So, Camel for Manglehorn. Seems like a downgrade, but if Manglehorn pops a wall, then it's going to look pretty sweet. This is probably good. Yeah, we have a 2-drop and a 3-drop. Can't cast the Serpapard currently. It's unfortunate. But another 4-power creature against my opponent's deck, which is likely to have lots of wall-like creatures, to be fair. Do you have a 2-drop? No. So I get on board first. No, my opponent's a 4-color deck too, and I think they're primarily blue-green. They didn't have a Hope Tender there. Hope Tender is a okay card. It's like I think it's worse than Naga Vitalist. You have to, like, just using the first ability doesn't actually ramp you. Okay. Don't mind my opponent cycling one of their big guys. Okay, there's the wall. Draw Manglehorn. Give me the Mangle. Nah. Could play this and cast another Oketra's Avenger, or no, actually I'm going to play Hooded Brawler here. And then next turn go Desert plus Oketra's Avenger, and then Serpapard will just have to sit in my hand, unfortunately. But I had a Forest in hand. I don't even that's stupid. I didn't even pay attention to that. That's so bad. So I blanked on a Forest in my hand, which is relevant because I definitely could have cast Serpapard there, and it's better than what I cast. But whatever. All right, Hooded Brawler coming in. We're gonna play the Desert. Do we play the Desert? Yeah, we play the Desert. That way I can play 2 things next turn. Play Devoted Cropmate this turn. Go ahead and exert, and again, my opponent's on the plan where they could play a 7-drop next turn. No. All right, get that out of here. Sorry about that. Might happen again. I have one more video coming down. So opponent going to 15. We'll see if they have some sort of big hippo creature. But for now, we're going to go and play Cropmate. Cropmate. My opponent's creatures match up very well against mine. I wish I had just played Serpapard. But unfortunately, I blanked on a card in my own hand, like a dummy. All right, now they discarded a hippo. I'm not sure if they had lands in hand. I think it's generally wrong to start cycling cards that you want to be casting later in the game if you have lands, but it's possible my opponent just didn't have lands to cast things. And it doesn't look like they're using Ritualist. They might go land and then have Hoopo up here. They have 4 mana available, but no extra land. So maybe, yeah, they probably just didn't have a land that one turn. Ambuscade is solid. Do I have attacks, though? It doesn't look like I do. Now, oh, one thing I can actually do here. My opponent didn't show me a lot of removal. I can attack with Oketra's Avenger and make it immune to combat damage. And then they block with an 0-4, and then I shoot off their other 0-4 with Ambuscade. I kind of like that. If they have a trick, it blows me out quite a bit, but just getting these 0-4s is going to let my other creatures start attacking. So we're going to exert the Oketra's Avenger. This just tells my opponent, I mean, they might not even block, because me doing this and exerting tells my opponent I probably have some sort of trick. But they're already at 14. Can't afford to just sit around not doing anything. If they respond by doing something, I might just ambuscade anyway. No. All right, let's see if they block. I don't expect counter magic from my opponent. I also don't expect things like unsummoned. So, yeah, let's try it out. If it works, it's going to be fantastic. So, target creature you control, target creature an opponent controls, and we want to tap like this. This way I kill off both of their 4 toughness walls, and I cut them off 2 mana this way if this works. Leaving them with just Hoopo and 4 mana. And then they would also have to actually take damage. Okay, they got something. Haha, unsummon. Well, I said I wasn't expecting it, but there it goes. They did take 1 to cast that unsummon. Oh, no, they didn't. All right, I don't know why my opponent slow rolled that so much. All right, we got blown out a little bit, but can I really expect unsummon from my opponent's 4-color deck? I guess so. Should also note that if they don't play a land, they just have 4 spells in hand. It's probably going to be Aven next turn, even though... Yeah, so I could go Serpapart plus Avenger. Avengers aren't looking too good on this board, though. Another wall. All right, well, definitely Aven then. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. It's a greedy attack. Maybe not too much. Keeping up potential 4 mana here. Fanbearer is not terrible. Kind of like the Aven, but we're going to attack with Brawler first. Yeah, I got blown out by the unsummon, but I think that's still the right play. Like, yeah, I got blown out, but I didn't see any bounce spells from my opponent in game 1, and if it works, I just get to clear off 2 good blockers for my opponent. Manglehorn would still be a great draw, just to it kills one of his 0-4s. All right, opponent deciding what to do again. Some sort of trick in hand. Is this going to be like Consign? Yes, Consign to Oblivion. All right. Well, I like the idea of going Brawler plus Avenger. I also like the idea of playing Serpapard because it attacks without exerting. It's just a consistent way to deal damage here. And it can't be countered in case my opponent's holding up. I don't know. Aven's more consistent because my opponent's not likely to block with their Hoopo. And if at any point I draw that thing that... I mean, I do have to watch out for these walls. They do add up damage over time. If I can apply enough pressure to my opponent to a point where they have to start blocking with the walls, then I feel fine about it. 2 damage per turn is quite a bit. Does suck I can't really attack with my creatures. Wish I had Shafet Dunes, the land, the desert that sacks to give everything +1/+1. Now the game plan is to start attacking with Serpapard. My opponent would have to currently double block, and I take out the Ritualist. Alright, that gives me another mana. I can go Aven plus Fanbearer, which I think is good. So we're going to do that, attack with Serpapard, and see what happens. It's possible I should even cast my creatures before I do this because my opponent does have access to blue mana. I wasn't expecting... What's it called? I wasn't expecting Unsummon, and I'm still not expecting counterspells, but it's possible. My opponent has Unsummon, they might have counterspells. Might just take 4 here, I think. Yeah, alright. So let's go, in case they are holding up Censor. I would rather this Aven stick, I think. Three damage does shut off almost 2 turns of these walls, which is nice. And then Fanbearer is going to be quite good here. My opponent does get to activate Hoopo, but they can't use all their mana for just Hoopo every turn. Or can they? No, they can't. Alright, shoot me for 2, put me down to 17. My opponent's at a low life total. Sunset Pyramid would be a great draw. My Hippo would be a great draw. Appeal to Authority would just be a fantastic draw. If my opponent doesn't have anything, it probably just wins the game again. The Ambuscade. Sick. Okay, they could Oblivion me too, but that doesn't seem like it's in their best interest. And it does mean I want to play out pretty much everything. Oblivion's 4 and a black. In fact, if they play Oblivion, like that's just the worst thing they can do with their mana because it's sorcery speed. But knowing about it, I'm just going to play out as much as I can. Aven gets in there. Prowlin Serpapard gets in there. 1 green. Stinging Shot. It's good. Opponent still has Hoopo activation, but I don't think they can afford to use that or exert it. Seeker of Insight. Another big blocker, but that one doesn't block quite as well. What we got? Hippo. Hippo's a good draw here. Very good draw. And my opponent didn't hit a land. They also can't draw this turn, so Serpapard gets in there, and we're not going to use Fanbearer, unfortunately. Although, let's see, tap, tap. Nah. It'd be nice if this was like a 2-drop instead, so I could get it discarded to consign and then bring it back with Cropmate. My opponent only has 4 power on board. There's going to be a turn where I just get to swing out here. But I don't think I don't have any like mass pumping effects. Those Top-Crop Elites didn't come back. Super unfortunate. In fact, Top-Crop Elite would be insane on this board. Dauntless Aven would be not a draw I particularly want right now. Hippo should do some work here. Opponent taking it? Yeah, they don't want to lose any of their defense. That's fair. So my opponent's a ramp deck, but I don't know. Maybe they've got too much defense. They probably just haven't hit their top-end stuff. They can't tap out for Oblivion. They really can't. I mean, they could. You have a 3-mana spell? What was that? Another consign? Oh, Winds of Rebuke. And we milled Steward of Solidarity and Bitterblade Warrior. Okay. So more 2-drops. That's fine. Maybe they consign here, actually, just to make me lose my 2 cards. They know the 2 cards in my hand. In fact, that wouldn't be bad. They do take another 4 from the Serpapard. Serpapard. Actually, I can exert this now to get back something. Doesn't work in my favor because they really get to eat my guy, but if one of these is just better on this board than Devoted Cropmate, that might be what I'm looking to do. Opponent still with 3 spells in hand and no cards. Or no lands. But they're holding me off very nicely with these walls. Just give me Manglehorn. One time. I don't want to lose to these walls. I might. Seeker lets them start eating through their library too. This doesn't look like... Is that another wall? It is. Jeez. It's just going to bolt me every turn. Man. Yeah, I need to consider my sideboard if we go to game 3 and think about how many ways I can push through these blockers. These 3 power creatures aren't quite going to do it. Naga's a good draw. I could go Naga plus Hooded Brawler here. That gives me 2 more attackers. So let's think here. Is one of these creatures better than Devoted Cropmate? I do think the Bitterblade Warrior is better. So we might get back Bitterblade. Definitely attacking with Prowler this turn, and then we're just going to tap out for these 2. Put it on 2 spells. You can't have all tricks, can you? Well, probably. If they don't have lands, that's what they've got, right? Bitterblade Warrior. Just a Death Touch attacker is going to be better than a 3-2 that can't really attack at all. So my opponent at 4 life, they've got to be careful. Their board is quite good against what I've got going on. Like 3-1s against 0-4s. I'm telling you, this wall is a little bit better. I don't know if I draft 3 of them, but if your game plan is just to sit there and dirtle, then yeah, it works, right? Taking the Serpapard damage. Okay. Alright, my opponent's at 3. Let's go and play Brawler. My opponent knows about that one. And Naga. These are 2 more creatures that can attack past my opponent. I have 8 attackers. Yeah, let's go and F6. So if I untap, Fanbearer down one of their guys, I have 7 attackers. They have 5 blockers. Let's assume they play another one, 6. But all of my creatures... Oh, I exerted this, though, so that's not going to work. But next turn, I get to attack with Sidewinder, Bitterblade, and Hooded Brawler. And that might leave an opening for me to attack with the Avengers as well. The Avengers. They can't let any 3-power creatures through, so if I attack with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 creatures that are all lethal, they have to block all of them. Let's see what they do with their turn, though. I am getting a little low here. I want them to just tap out for something, honestly. But they're not going to do that. Just not having another land is pretty crazy, but they've done quite a bit on 4 mana. I imagine they've just got a bunch of tricks in their hand. Okay, so they have 2 cards, and they did draw another one. Ooh, Exerting. This is going to be a 7-drop. Sifter Worm it is. Yeah, Sifter Worm's so good. That's going to stabilize them. It's pretty bad for me. They did tap out, though, so with a good draw, we can do this. They went bottom, bottom, Obelisk Spider on top, so they're at 6 now. Okay. Oh, give me the Appeal to Authority. Come on. All right, so let me just think about this real quick. 2 mana to tap this down. 1 mana, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Give this +8. This is going to attack as an 11, 12, 13 power dude. They are going to have, let's say we just tap these 4 Sifter Worm and 2 of the O4s between Fanbearer and Appeal to Authority. This is definitely lethal. Even if they go block, block, block. Oh, yeah, they're dead. All right, cool. Let's make sure we play it right, though. I need 1 more white mana. Yeah. That was a very lucky draw because my opponent's at the point where they're going to get back in this now if I don't do something. So give this +8 and trample for 1 white mana. That's so good. 3 mana to give it. This card is way better than it looks, right? Yeah, okay. Thanks for the games, bud. Was that game 1? No, that was game 2. We boarded in the Manglehorn. All right. This is all-star right here. This card is bonkers in this deck. Nice job for my opponent for carrying on there, though. Just the 3 walls were going to shoot us soon. And Sifter Worm into Obelisk Spider, blocker, 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 blocker. Pretty crazy, but they pulled off the 4 colors. And Hoopo is mana intensive. You can't afford to just use it every single turn. So we'll see you guys for round 3.